So the second thing that can happen is self-pity. So the thing about self-pity, nobody wants to admit that they have self-pity. When I was struggling with addiction and recovery, I remember my sponsor talking to me about self-pity, and my first thought was, hey man, I am not out there trying to get other people to feel sorry for me, right? I don't even tell people about my problems. I'm not trying to get pity from other people. People typically vastly misunderstand self pity. All self pity is, look up the definition. Self pity is just a wallowing in your own problems. When I think about it from that perspective, wallowing in my own problems, I had a huge problem with self pity. And this is extremely common for people that struggle with addiction. Self pity is usually a thing that blocks their recovery. So, what this looks like, that internal dialogue that's going on in this phase of self pity, is typically things like, this isn't fair. I've worked so hard and I still can't get ahead. Nobody understands what I'm going through. Why do I still feel like this? And I'll tell you guys what happened with me was I would beat myself up and then wallow in my own problems. So I would basically rehearse this tape of why I was a piece of shit, why I was a fuck up, all these kinds of things. I would literally beat the shit out of myself, and then I would feel sorry for myself, right? I wasn't trying to get other people to feel sorry for me. I was just feeling sorry for myself. So that's what self pity was for me. Again, it wasn't like I was going around telling people my problems, asking for their sympathy or trying to get attention. No, it did not look anything like that. In fact, it was the opposite. I wouldn't tell anybody what I was going through. I wouldn't tell anyone my struggle, unless maybe I was drunk, but that was a whole different story. So, what happens is the self pity weakens my accountability. Okay, so basically, when I'm beating the shit out of myself, I'm telling myself this story of who I am, of what I'm capable of, things that I've fucked up, and it's shame, right? Shame is that core belief of who I am as an individual. The difference between shame and guilt: shame is I'm a shitty person, guilt is I did a shitty thing. Two very different things. So when I'm feeling that shame about myself, it weakens my accountability because it basically is tempting me. It's like teasing me. Matt, you're just a fuck up anyways. You're just a piece of shit. You're going to do the same old thing. You've tried to get sober a million times before. It never fucking worked. Why is this time going to be any different? Right? That's all that self pity and shame. And then it weakens my accountability. And then I get a case of the fuck it's. Most dangerous thing that can happen in recovery is getting a case of the fuck it's. Fuck it. I'm not good enough. Things are never going to get better. I'm never going to see improvements. I'm never going to get a good job. I'm never going to, whatever, get a good relationship. It's really, at least for me, it was tied to this feeling of being cursed. I literally felt like I was cursed. The universe was against me. You could call it God, the universe, whatever, life. But it basically, the universe was against me, and things are never going to fucking change. That's when I would get a case of the fuck up. That's when I would relapse, right? So, huge thing to watch out for. That's usually the second step. The third step that goes right along with that self pity and beating myself up is a self loathing. So, right along the same lines, the mind starts to shift. I'm always going to be like this. I ruin everything. I'm not capable of having a good job. I'm not capable of having a good relationship. I'm not worthy of being loved. I'm not good enough. All I do is fuck things up. That's self loathing. I hate myself. I hate who I am. I hate who I've let myself become. I can't work my way out of this. It's always going to be like this. I might as well drink. I might as well use, right? That's that kind of cycle. Relapse is often the end of a shame spiral, not the beginning of one. That's really important. I start having these thoughts, and one leads to the other, and then my brain is just repeating this pattern of thinking, right? And it's this downward spiral. and that relapse happens at the end. So the more that I can be aware of that, what I want to do is I want to stop it before it happens. I want to stop those thoughts that are creating that downward spiral, right? Because again, when I look back, one of the things in AA that it talks about is dealing with self pity and just allowing things to be the way that they are. So if something bad happens to me, just accept it, right? Don't start playing that thought pattern again. Don't start playing that rehearsal of this always happens to me. I'm a fuck up. God hates me. The universe hates me. It's always me against the world, that kind of thing. That is what creates that shame bubble that I find myself in. Now I'm separated from the rest of the world. I'm separated from the people who care about me. I'm separated from friends, family, God, if I believe in God, my spirituality. Now it's just me and the fucking addiction. I'm in that bubble of addiction. Boom, I'm going to relapse, right? I've seen it happen in myself a million times. I've seen it happen to other people a million times. So again, relapse is often the end of the shame spiral, not the beginning. That's important. So think about this. What am I rehearsing about myself right now? If you find yourself with these kinds of thoughts, think about it as the story that you're telling yourself. Separate yourself from the story. It's not necessarily fucking true. You've just told yourself it enough times that it seems like it's fucking true. So, what are you rehearsing? What is the story that you're rehearsing? What's the pattern? And we're talking about neural networks, guys. What pattern is my thought traveling down that is creating the same pattern of behavior? Because make no mistake about it, the behavior is the end of the thinking. I remember in a meeting, someone said, I used to think about which comes first, the thinking or the drinking. To me, at that point, I was like, what are you talking about? I didn't know that the drinking was a result of this kind of shit. I just thought I drink because I want to drink, right? No, dissect it. What's behind it? What are the stories you're telling yourself? Are you telling yourself you're a piece of shit? Are you telling yourself you're a fuck up? Are you telling yourself things will never get better? Are you telling yourself people don't understand? Nobody understands the way that I'm feeling. Nobody gives a shit. That's what the self pity is. That's that dangerous cycle that we can fall into. And again, you got to understand if I'm in the cycle of addiction, my brain wants me to drink or use. It wants me to. It doesn't want me to get better because it wants to repeat the status quo. It wants to keep doing what it's fucking been doing. The brain takes up 3% of our body weight. It accounts for 20% of our energy. So it is craving efficiency. So it just wants to keep doing the same fucking thing. It does not give a shit that it's killing me. It's thinking, literally, the brain is thinking that's helping me survive. I can't deal with these thoughts, so I need to numb it to survive because it's too much. It's too overwhelming. So it thinks it's doing a good thing. So, what story am I rehearsing about myself right now? That question alone can interrupt the spiral. It can interrupt the pattern. If I stop that, if I distance myself from it, what are the thoughts that I'm thinking? What pattern, what spiral of thinking am I going down? Let me just cut that off. Neutral based thinking. Is it true? Am I really a fuck up? Or has my addiction created some really fucked up circumstances for me? Not removing the accountability, but the reality. Hey, if I'm drinking or using on a pretty much daily basis, if I can't control the amount that I'm drinking or using, I'm going to find myself in some pretty fucked up circumstances. That's the reality. That's that neutral based thinking. So, what do other people do to stop? How do other people stop drinking or using? 25 million people in the United States are living clean and sober from addiction. How the fuck do they do it? There's a formula, right? So, distance myself from that spiral. Okay, what am I thinking? Is it accurate? Right? What if it's not true? That can interrupt that pattern, that spiral. Okay? So if you're noticing these patterns, That's a good sign, right? That means that you're practicing awareness, and awareness is huge for recovery. If you're not aware of the way that you're thinking and feeling, you're going to have a really hard time stopping the drinking and using, okay? So it means you're catching the relapse process earlier, okay? So if you're noticing these patterns, that means that you're growing, that you're becoming more aware. That's going to help you interrupt that pattern. Remember, recovery is a process. So if I fuck up, if I don't catch myself in that pattern one day and I relapse, it is what it is. I can't do anything about it. I can't go back and change it. Let me just, okay, tomorrow's a new day. Let me get back on the horse. The biggest mistake you can make is saying fuck it and then letting yourself go off the rails. That's the biggest mistake because you don't know when you're going to get back on. But if you have that mindset of, hey, I'm working on my recovery, a relapse, a slip up, it's not the end of the world. It just means something has to change. I need to identify something else. I need to change a pattern. So it's information. The relapse is information. It's not failure, it's information. Okay? How's it going to help me in the future in my recovery? Guys, I hope this video is helpful. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching, I offer recovery coaching. Look at my website, lifelongrc.com, or shoot me an email, lifelongrc@gmail.com. It's in the description below. If you need more help, hit me up. Guys, I hope this was helpful. Tell me what you're struggling with. Tell me what helps you. Shoot a comment down below. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.